Hello everyone, welcome to the Smashy Business Show from Web Summit Qatar. I'm Abdul Majid
And I'm Richard Fitzgerald.
Yeah, today is the 24th of Feb 2025 and we're here finally. Rich came yesterday, he saw the whole opening ceremony. It was a grand fiesta kind of a thing. The Prime Minister of Qatar was there, Scalia founder was there. Rich, tell us what happened yesterday. How was the feeling, the vibe?
Yeah, Web Summit Doha. So this is the second year, and the numbers that's been spoken about is last year, make sure it works, get it set up. They had it in the convention center here, and they kept space. So they had 5,000 people here, and this year there will be 25,000 people who will pass through the doors from yesterday until Wednesday. That's a big number. Paddy Cosgrove, the CEO, spoke on stage yesterday, and he spoke about the Western world going through change, and the narrative he used was, lots of different polar economies around the world, alluding to the fact that MENA and Asia, and obviously Doha can be the center of that, epicenter of that. We're looking at 25,000 people. It's buzzing already, Majid, this morning here in Web Summit. It was just kicking off. The main stage will happen in about 20 minutes. They took the park next door, the center, to have the food summit. They focused a lot on meetups. There's the numbers, and we'll put them in the post and the show notes, but the numbers of startups on representation here is really, really big. Web Summit pitches itself as sort of unlocking and creating a startup economy for a city, and that's what it did in Lisbon and originally in Dublin, and everywhere it goes now in Rio and in other parts of the world where it's done splinter events. So yeah, yesterday I came in early. I did a side event called Venture Summit, Majid, and that was in a place called a NED. And Venture Summit is designed specifically for VCs. So there was 100 high caliber VCs represented, 100 people from those firms in the room, and it was a separate conference for the whole day. I hosted a panel on MENA 2025 with MENA VCs 2025 with individuals from Bracket Capital, from Plus VC and 500 Global. And I really learned a lot about the VC world, and we're talking about things here like secondaries and different types of things, female-led startups that we didn't talk about before. But in particularly, obviously, the CEO of Web Summit and founder, Paddy Cosgrove, has been with the company for so long. He started it in Dublin about 15 years ago, and he wasn't here last year because after the 2023-2025 genocide in Qatar, he spoke about war crimes being war crimes wherever they are in the world, and he got cancelled by certain type tech bro people, and then there was a brilliant CEO that stepped in. He didn't attend here, and then he came back and spoke brilliantly last night. And so it's full back. It's strong. It's impressive. Qatar have done an incredible job. Everyone has had their higher visas. I think you got questioned with a Pakistani passport, but
that's the only thing that happens when you have a Pakistani passport. But there's like 1,500 startups. I saw last year they had 1,000. Now 1,500. 1,500 sounds like small when you look at other events like SEF, Leap, all these events. Everyone boasts startups. But when you actually look at the space, it's humongous. It's so big because you're like, okay, so many startups. We just were at STEP. They had like 200, 300, 400 startups, and the space was occupied, literally, the Dubai Internet City.
And some will be overlap, but some will be new and fresh. And Paddy also spoke about, Sheikh Jassim, who approached him and his team, and the government communication office here and Amin and all the team there, Mohammed, they do such a good job, and to have the vision to pull this off, and we just know it's the start. Last year they announced the 1 billion fund under
under Qatar Investment Authority by the government. So that's happening.
The Prime Minister spoke about what they achieved in the year with that fund.
The main thing is, I think Qatar is also growing. We always say UAE startup ecosystem, UAE is focusing, Saudi is focusing, but Qatar is now focusing too. And yesterday in his speech, he said it was a 6-minute speech by the Prime Minister, but it was interesting to see him say that Qatar is also like a startup nation. He's like, we're punching above weight, and people ask me whenever I travel.
Smash Business. And exactly, and these are the modern Gulf cities, it's not, they are competing, but I don't think we can say any is sleepy anymore. They're all active, they're all great places to live. They're all safe. They've all got startup environments. They've all got great food, great restaurants. And when anyone travels here, we'll have big names. We have Will Smith speaking today, and there's, I was staying in the W hotel, and it's just full of Americans flying in, and they told me that there was a flight cancelled from LA, I think, and the schedule had to be readjusted. But I was speaking to Maha Abdelmainen, who has the Savvy Digital, so she's just launched a book. And she's speaking here today, and she flew directly from Chicago on Qatar Airways. So there are, it's every Gulf Emirate is growing. It's exciting to be here. I particularly ticked off a few speaker events around media and tech and things like that. I'll also be moderating a panel with the CEO of Invest Qatar at 2:30 today with the CEO of Portugal startup as well, and they just announced an MOU, right?
Yeah, there's a strategic partnership where both countries will now help each other's startups in the ecosystem. The most important thing, I was in the bus coming here. They have a shuttle service from all the hotels, and I found two VC guys with me. They were speakers here, and I just asked them, what do you do? And they're like, we invest in early stage startups. And my first question was, why Qatar? Why are you here? Why are you at Web Summit? And they're like, it's a very booming market. Absolutely. And everyone is looking at UAE, Saudi, Egypt to an extent, but we think this region, this country itself has a lot of potential. And they told me like they're looking at Oman and Bahrain. Both of them were related to cybersecurity venture funding. They only fund those pre-series, Series A. And they're like, this is the thing that we want. We want to come here and invest. It's nice. US-based VC funds coming here to invest in these startups.
Yeah,
that's great. They're not going to Silicon Valley, right?
No, exactly. And it's Hassan Haider from Plus VC. He's done 70 investments in the last 2 years. And I looked on his website. They're all regional, local players, and they're all early stage. So it's really thriving at the moment, startups, and people are looking for that winner to back the winner, and people are looking to encourage founders and startups and have new leaders and new successes. But then to open the panel, there was an interview with Emma from CNBC who interviewed Alexis Ohanian, who's very, very successul entrepreneur and business person in the US. He started Reddit in 2008, and that's obviously public now. And we have subreddit threads in Doha and in Dubai and in Riyadh and everything. And then now his focus is on, he does a lot of things, but his focus is on female football and soccer in the US. He invested in Angels Club for $1 million 2-3 years ago, and now it's worth $300 million. He says he wants a $1 billion franchise for female soccer in the US, but his talk was all about Western-centric and about, about the US. And I saw a really nice post this morning. The editor of Inc. magazine, Abby, he said, he basically had a little bit of an event, and he kind of said that, a bit of advice to any American CEO or founder: when you're coming here, don't tell us the same stories that that we know before from big tech. Don't say that Western supremacy and Western ideas is going to work in this region, because it didn't work before with social media and everything. So we don't want that. But I think it's an interesting perspective. Everyone's have different perspectives, but they also had how much have Scale AI raised? Or
I don't know about the funding recently. The last update I had from Scale AI was they talked about DeepSeek. The founder who was here, Alexander Wang, he was at the event. He spoke. He recently raised a lot of controversy when he said that DeepSeek is using ChatGPT's data and all the backing, so it's not worth $6 million. That was the latest one, but he's a kid again. He's a very young kid.
Young guy. I've seen him interview on TV before. But away from Qatar, and we'll be talking about a lot what's happening here today. We'll be covering the stages and the headlines and the stories and the MOUs and stuff like that. But there's two other stories, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk cybersecurity. We'll segue from there into Bybit. Bybit is a Dubai headquartered currency.
I think they're in Silicon Oasis,
Yeah, but they have a headquarters in Dubai. That is
in Dubai.
Dubai Silicon Oasis. The thing is, they're the second largest by trade volume after Binance. in the world, and they got hacked. $1.5 billion worth of Ethereum
Are they
was.
that big now? Out of Dubai, they're second to Binance.
And Binance also is in Dubai. They have their regional
of course.
headquarters in Dubai. So you can see the biggest world crypto exchanges, both of them are in Dubai.
And they got hacked.
They got hacked, $1.5 billion. Ethereum lost. Ethereum itself on the cryptocurrency scale, it lost like 7 to 8% value only because of this hack. And it shows that cryptocurrency still hasn't matured. You need a lot of money invested in
It's so
security.
interesting about this is 3 years ago, end of 2022, FTX and Binance were really big, and CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried were having a go at each other.
Yeah.
And when FTX were in trouble, CZ kind of pulled the rug and threw him under the bus and said, and then it just all went crazy. And then, we're still getting our funds back from FTX and SBF is in jail and all this sort of stuff. And this time, they didn't want it to happen. So the comms, both from the founder of Bybit and from CZ's like, we can help.
Yeah.
And all the tweets are like, the optics around it, and like literally I think he posted his whoop and he goes, look, I didn't sleep.
Yeah,
like
last
he posted
night.
a tweet, like, and he's like, and they're finding a way to get back, and like, not only have they done brilliant corp comms on both sides, the whole industry knows it can't afford to have another FTX.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, it got hacked, but let's make sure your money's safe and everyone's going to stay okay.
Yeah, and they've put out a reward 10%, I guess, $1.5 million if you can bring back their money. So that's one thing.
Yeah, so basically, exactly. So they basically want the hackers who robbed them, they want to find other hackers
who can rob them
hack
and
them back.
eventually.
Find
it's
out
going to
who
be a
hacked
really
it.
funny and interesting story to see. It's happened for the first time, I guess, that such a big crypto exchange has lost so much money. $1.5 billion is a lot.
Yeah.
You give that to a pre-seed or seed startup, they'll start a whole thing. They may disrupt the market. So that's happening. We'll keep you updated on it. But another important thing that happened is Dubai or UAE. Right now, the rumor is Dubai. But overall, UAE is getting a Musk Tower. Errol Musk has gone on a spree of interviews. He's talked exclusively to AGBI, Arab News, and all the big newspapers. Video interviews also. And he's like, we're building a Musk Tower. Two things. It's going to be for innovation, and it's also going to be linked to Musk, the meme coin. So he's like, we're building it there. The interesting thing, Rich, he said, I'm building it in UAE because then it will be a truly international place. Otherwise, if I build it in America, everyone will call it an American institute, or in Russia, they'll call it a Russia institute. But in Dubai, they'll call it an international institute.
Not an Emirati
or
institute.
Yeah. So it's great seeing that people are actually recognizing the importance of UAE.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Center of the world.
Yeah, it's investment, isn't it? I mean, we usually associate towers with Trump, but Musk hasn't really, other than his solar initiative from his early days, he hasn't really been in the real estate play. But I think this may be a sign of what's things to come. He's obviously a billionaire, maybe a trillionaire one day. Who knows? He's up to a few hundred billion now. But to see that there's a sign of science and giving back in education is good to see, and that his name will be, on the sort of landscape in Dubai. And, everything's a real estate project in UAE. But it's great. It's great to see. And Elon, his father.
Errol Musk.
Sorry.
Yeah.
His father is sort of speaking about this as well.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, May Musk was recently in Dubai. She came for $1 billion summit, 1 billion followers summit, and the family is here. Musk is in US.
Yeah.
He's with the Trump administration running doggy. That's happening. Let's see what the final plan is. We'll see the final plan. Right now, the only information is Al Khaili Group has signed some contract with Errol Musk's company. So details we'll know.
Yeah, he's not here. He spoke at the World Government Summit via video last week, but he's not in Qatar. But he was at the FYI event in Miami last week, and Maha at breakfast today, she was there, and she said when he walked in, everyone scurried around him. And Trump, she said, is like it's a big, to move the US president and to get him to a Saudi-backed initiative in Miami, you're moving 400 people because it's a lot of people. But Musk, there's a big, he's so famous, and people want to, everything he touches turns to gold these days. By the way, Grok AI, can we just talk about Grok AI? How good it is?
Yeah, I tried it. I've been trying it for
I'm almost deleting my other ChatGPT apps up at home because all I need is X. I've downloaded the Grok app now, that's not working, but everything, I don't know what they're doing, but like, how has he built like it's better than like it puts. I use Gemini a little bit, right? Like we
Yeah.
obviously we have the $200 version for work for ChatGPT, you know, for Sora and for all that sort of stuff. And that's what we use for the work. But like on personal stuff, I was using Gemini because it's linked to
Yeah.
my Gmail and it's Google. But lately, I'm just opening my X app more and I'm putting everything into Grok because it's so fast. It's so
And
good.
it's easier, like you don't have to have a chat GPT app. You can use X and you can use Grok, and it's very comfortable that he's put the, I think he's sooner or later create a super app around X.
Yeah.
Everything will be in X.
Yeah,
You don't need to go anywhere.
You know, he's obviously trying to
Yeah.
raise separate money for XAI, so
Yeah.
he does have a Grok app, but
Yeah.
it is very linked to X as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us from the Web Summit. We'll be there tomorrow as well and day after as well. We'll give you all the updates on our stories. Follow us on all social media platforms, Smashy Business. Follow our newsletter. It's in the link under this podcast. If you're listening to it, if you're watching, it's still under there in the description. Follow us everywhere, to be honest, because we're doing great and we want to do great for you guys, bring you all the information, all the news
And
updates
send
from
us
the
your
Middle
videos,
East.
send us your stories. If you see a
Yeah.
clip from the panel that you're
Yeah.
at, send it to us. If you've got a startup story, a fundraising story, or if you know an entrepreneur that hasn't been getting the attention they deserve, we'll cover them.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.